Hello parents, welcome to Parent Connect. Today we're going to connect with one of our most famous school system employees. She may not know how famous she is, but whenever we ask our kids, hey, how was school today? What did you all do at school today? You hear one word, lunch. So today we're here with Suzanne Lanos, our supervisor for the Child Nutrition Program. And we also have...
Carmen Bounds, hello.
So we're going to get some interesting information today on a very important aspect of the Mobile County Public School System. And we'll get started this morning by having Suzanne to talk with us about the Child Nutrition Program and a question that a lot of parents ask: how is it that our child can receive breakfast and lunch at no cost? Good morning.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Morning.
Now, just one of the things is we have what we call community eligibility provision. It's called CEP, and it's basically a federally funded program that it all goes to households that receive federal assistance, and there's a formula that you put in there, and we have to meet certain percentages and that type of thing. And so our county school district qualifies, so we're able to offer meals to all students at no charge.
Wow.
And so basically we do breakfast and lunch. And the way that we have it is, it's a lot of red tape, I guess.
I'm sure with everything.
And a lot of red tape paperwork, but by the time we do it, for all of our students that eat, however many students eat, 90% of them, we get the free reimbursement rate from the federal government.
Right.
So
That's
for every
great.
meal that we serve, we get so much money. And then for the other 10% of the students that eat, we get what we call the paid reimbursement rate. And I'm not sure of the exact figures, but right now it's safe, it's about $3 per meal that we get per student for a free rate, and then it's about 25 cents, 30 cents, something like that for the paid rate.
Okay.
That you guys get reimbursed.
That we get reimbursed for every meal.
a lot of money.
So there's a lot of accountability as for, we got to make sure that the student eats, they've got to take a whole meal, and we can go a little bit later into what makes a reimbursable meal.
Right.
But they have to take certain things in order for us to get reimbursed for that.
And that's from each food group.
From all the different food groups.
Right.
Like a child may not, say if they don't like what we have to eat for lunch, but they just want a carton of milk. They can't just pick up a carton of milk and then we get
Exactly.
reimbursed for that. If they pick up a carton of milk and
They
not
have
the
to
whole
have
meal,
the whole tray.
if they pick up that carton of milk, they would have to pay for that milk. And so a lot of parents don't really understand that. Well, it's at no charge, but we're basing everything that they're going to take a meal.
The no charge includes the entire meal.
Right.
You can't just pick and choose.
Right. So if they want
Okay.
just part of the meal, part of like just a milk or just a vegetable or something like that, they would have to actually pay for that.
And I guess that supports the healthy eating to make sure that a child gets something from each food group, because we want our students to be healthy. And I can understand that.
Yes, because the whole tray would include food from all the
Yeah,
food
we
groups.
have 5 different food groups that we have to work with. We have the milk group, the meat alternate group, the fruit group, the vegetable group, and the milk group.
Right.
And so, the grain group, I'm sorry. And so they don't call it breads anymore, they call it grains.
Grains.
So,
Sounds a lot healthier than bread.
yeah, I guess it does. And
Wheat.
So there's a lot of things that people think, well, what does it take to go into the menus?
Right.
And so there's a lot of things that actually go into planning the menus. It's nearly, sometimes it's funny the way we have to do, because we have to have so many ounces of meat that we have to offer the students every day. And then there's so many grains we have to offer the
Right.
student every day. So many fruits, so many vegetables, and so much milk.
When you say per day, that includes breakfast and the lunch?
Correct. Those
Okay,
are 2
for
separate meals that we have to plan.
Okay, each
One of the
one.
things is on the meals, we have to also have a nutrient analysis to make sure that we're meeting the calories and the fat and sodium requirements on that.
Oh.
And then we have to, like in our vegetable group, every week we have to serve so many dark green vegetables, and there's only certain things that the government lets us allow as a dark green
That
vegetable.
qualify for that.
Like you would
Right.
think cabbage would be a dark green vegetable, but that's not one. That's like in the other vegetable group.
Okay.
Then you have to serve so many red-orange fruits and or red-orange vegetables, and basically it's either like yams, tomatoes, and carrots.
Right.
Well, that's probably why the kids see a lot of yams, tomatoes, and carrots. I mean,
And oranges. We see a lot of oranges too.
yeah, and with your fruits, you got to have so many different types of fruit. But then with the vegetable group, you also have to have a dry pea or bean every week that we have to serve, and it has to be a mature dry pea or bean. It can't
Weekly.
be weekly. You can't have a baby lima bean because that's not a mature bean. So
Wow.
whenever you think about it, there's a lot that actually goes into.
Certainly
we're
sounds like
counting
it.
like we have 5 days, and within that week we have to meet so many requirements.
Exactly.
And so sometimes it's hard to think about. You know, a lot of people like with pizza. Most people eat pizza, maybe a salad. But then with all the things we have, so we have to start throwing in a vegetable in there. So we'll do
Right.
pizza and broccoli. Years ago, we used to do French fries and pizza.
Exactly. I remember
Back
that.
in the day, I remember that
Back in the
too.
day, you'd have French fries and pizza. And one of the things too with our meals is that, like potatoes, you think of it as being starchy. It would be in the bread group, but it's actually in the vegetable group, and that's under starchy vegetables. We have to have so many starchy vegetables each week.
Wow, a lot
And
goes
then
into
you
it.
have your
for
other
sure.
vegetables like green beans and those types of, and squash and that kind of stuff. That's in the other group. So you have to have so many of that each week. And then whenever you look at the fruit
Right.
section, you have to have, you can't serve more than half of your fruit as juice. So we got to think about that. And for middle schools, we only need to serve, let's see, it's 2.5 cups of fruit a week for lunch. So you can't serve more than 1 cup of fruit juice during the week. So we only have fruit juice on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's a lot of things that we got to go through, all that kind of
wow.
stuff.
And so all of this, like you were saying, accountability with the community eligibility program that allows us to have the breakfast and lunch at no cost. That it is a lot.
Oh,
So
yes.
when we come back after break, we're going to talk about, because as you can see, we've heard the preparation of the menus and everything. When does your school year start? Because we're pretty sure in order for our students to start eating on the first day of school, that your school year starts, or
Much
does it
sooner
even
than that.
stop?
It just
That's
starts
true.
and
Does
then
it even
stops.
stop, especially with the summer?
So we'll see you after break.
It is an exciting time of change in the world of education, where technology is being used to engage our learners. And here in the Mobile County Public Schools, we're embracing those changes and moving forward into this new era of learning. It's our vision to be the premier educational system where students engage in multiple pathways, leading to success in a global society. Education for the future. It starts with us.
I started off at Fondy Elementary, then I went to Azalea Middle School, and then Davidson High School for my high school years. The Mobile County Public School system prepared me for my career by showing me why it was so important to give back. I am involved with the Big Brother Big Sister program, and I've been paired with a young boy that was in the 3rd grade and is now finishing up the 4th grade, and it gives me an opportunity to give back and help mentor him.
Welcome back. We are talking today about something very interesting and that our students love, which is our child nutrition program, otherwise known as lunch. So let's talk about what is a reimbursable meal.
Okay, that's one of the things. Once we do our menu planning, now it's time to serve the meal to the students. One of the things to remember is that all of our menus are done at the central office, and they're different from school district to school district, but pretty much in Mobile County Public School System, we all use the same menu because we have to meet so many guidelines and nutrient analysis and stuff, and there's a lot of paperwork we have to keep on hand.
So is it one for like elementary, middle, and high school?
There's one for elementary, middle, together, and then the high school has
separate,
one.
okay.
And basically it's very little difference in the portion sizes. It's just that the high school I think has 1 or 2 more ounces of meat and then a couple of extra grains, and then they can have fruit juice every day, as elementary middle can only have fruit juice twice a day at lunch, twice a week at lunch. It's crazy.
I bet. It's hard to keep up
But
with
it's just it's regulations that we've got to follow if we want to have the program. Whenever it comes to having a reimbursable meal, and that's also a little type of thing that we do. We do have a paper that we have or like a sign at the front of each line, and it says in order to make a reimbursable meal for lunch, you must select at least 3 of the 3 different components on the line, and so that's where the little game goes there.
Out of the 5 food groups.
There's 5 food groups. You have your meat alternate, your fruit, your vegetable, your milk, and your grain. So if a child comes through and they want to select something, but they don't want the whole meal, and they want to get, say, milk, some, say a peach, and then a roll, that would actually make a reimbursable meal because that's 3 different components. Okay. A lot of times our meat and grain components are together, such as like pizza, that type of stuff, because you got different components all into one entree there. So it has to be at least 3 different components. There's some little tweaking in there that we just went to seminars. We actually go to seminars and stuff to learn about this.
I know,
really.
to keep up with it
That
all.
it's like, okay, and sometimes I'm just like, I just can't remember all that. But anyway, then, because our cashiers, not only are they trying to get the PIN number, so because we have to associate their
the kids
number
through a
with
line.
that student,
Right.
so that way we can get reimbursed saying, yes, we fed, you know.
This child.
Yeah, we fed this child and that kind of stuff.
And so parents, that's where that lunch number comes in, because
Yeah.
our
Make
students
sure your
have to know
kids
their
know their
number.
lunch number.
And that's, you know, you might say, well, it's at no charge, but we have to be accountable
Accountable
as
for
to
each child
who ate, little
and
Johnny
who was
ate, little
fed.
Susie ate, you know,
Exactly.
and that kind of stuff. And so then also, like with breakfast, we have to serve at least 4 components, and 2 of them can be the same. Like I could have 2 grains. I could have a cereal, Pop-Tart, and then I could have a piece of fruit and milk. We have to always serve milk. Offer milk.
Very important.
So then they only have to pick 3 different components. So if they pick the milk, the fruit, and the cereal, that's a
And that covers
reimbursable
it.
meal. So it's a little tweaking that you got to do. It's but so we do have signage at on all of our lines and stuff, so that a child can see, well, I got to pick 3 out of the 5, or I got to pick 2 out of whatever. And one thing with breakfast and with lunch, for breakfast, they have to take a half a cup of fruit or juice in order for it to be reimbursable.
The
For
little
lunch,
juice.
they have to take a half a cup of vegetable or juice in order for it to be reimbursable. So they can't go through the line and just get
pick
milk
anything.
and the pizza. They got to get a piece of fruit or vegetable at lunch.
And, and that's a
component.
great thing because you're healthy, you're eating healthy, and at least we know for the most part. And it's because working parents, sometimes our menus may not be as sound as
healthy.
yours. But I tell you
Covering
what,
all 5
I
food
think I
groups.
would feel good using your menu to plan my meals for the week.
Yes, certainly.
Exactly.
Well, one of the things too is like, I know, like, say for instance, whenever I had my child at home and it was like after school, sometimes if it came through a window, we went through the drive-through
Yes.
or
Yeah, exactly.
whatever.
Just something quick, and you're not
Something
thinking
quick.
as much of nutrition.
Hey, that was, yeah, we were doing
You're
good.
fed and we get to go.
Yeah,
right.
we keep on going. But that's, at least we have the fruits and vegetables. Also, just recently we did get audited by federal and state auditors, and that's one of the things, we get audited all the time. And I had feds and state people come in and audit the records. We had like about 12 or 13 people there
Wow.
auditing
To come
us.
see.
And they were there for a week, and they said that really they had not seen as fresh produce as what we serve to our students.
That's
and they were
wonderful.
very happy with the amounts of
Exactly.
fruits and vegetables and
And
that
there
type
is
of
a lot
salads.
of fruit that the kids eat for sure.
We do a lot of salads and things like that with the students, and so I think about, say, 8-10 years ago, we didn't have as many regulations, but in the last 6 years or so, we've had to introduce all the whole grains, the fresh fruits and vegetables and things like that. And I think it's starting to come around that the children have actually started, that's all they know. Now you have
Right.
your high school people, they still remember the fried chicken days and stuff like that. But it's just, those are the days of the past, and it's all regulations that we have to follow.
Exactly.
So.
So knowing what we know now and what goes into it, when does your school year start, or do you all ever stop? Because parents, it's more than just walking
During
in
the
the first
school
day.
year.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, basically, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, y'all probably off during the summer," and we're like,
No.
"No." That's probably one
Doesn't
of our.
work that way.
That's one of our busiest times. Is summertime. Is we're trying to get ready for the school year.
Exactly.
We actually do like a program book that we can hand to our manager and say, "This is everything that happens between purchasing of food." Following the menus. Also, we got all our equipment. We've got, it goes a lot into, like, we've got pest control, we've got garbage, we've got
Exactly.
equipment
A lot of
buying.
different things
We
you
got
guys
a lot
have
of
to
things. We
cover.
try to do a lot of things in our cafeterias, things like that. So it's a lot that goes into with the summer, but that's where we, I guess you could say, start our year is the summer.
Exactly.
And then it goes into the fall, where we're actually implementing certain programs and stuff, because we have a fresh fruit and vegetable program we
get
can talk
started.
about a little bit later. And then we also have a supper program that we do. And then in the springtime, we get ready for summer feeding. And so it just sort of,
Right.
and while we're
Right.
getting ready for school, we also do summer feeding.
Right.
So
Now,
several things go on throughout the whole year.
Yes.
Exactly. When we come back, parents, I guess our mindset needs to be, we complain about sometimes those 2 or 3 meals or that big Sunday dinner. This is 181 days of big Sunday dinner. So when we come back, we'll pick back up as to what happens during the year and some of the programs that you all may not know the
That are
Mobile County
offered.
Public School System has in place. Thank you.
The more parents are involved in school, the more likely it is a child will succeed. Children with involved parents and attend school regularly make better grades and have better social skills. Every involved parent makes a difference.
Get involved. Ask about your child's day. Explain how your education matters. Parent involvement, it matters.
You can find more information on parent involvement at mcpss.com.
Which of the angles on the board are the one from the quiz on Friday? Jaden?
Research shows more and more 12 to 15-year-olds have arteries similar to that of a 45-year-old. but it doesn't have to be that way. Don't let your children grow up too fast. Encourage them to act their age through regular exercise and healthy eating.
But it would be safe to keep your distance until there's no secret that makes you smile. Reliable sources say that chicken soup has found their way out of this.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
I received a grade A education with the Mobile County Public School System. It helped allow me to embrace any obstacles that may come my way, whether it be educational-wise or, just life. Being in the Mobile County Public School System prepared me for whatever may come, and I'm just fortunate enough for that.
Welcome back. As we get started again, I am curious as to the number of students, number of meals that are prepared. As you all, like you said before break, you really don't stop. So what's the magic number?
Well, there's several magic numbers that we have. With us having the community eligibility provision of meals at no charge, for lunches, we serve about 49,000 lunches a day, because we have about 59,000 students. So whenever you divide it up between all the schools, there's some children that, I would say more in your high schools, that may not just want to, may not want to eat
lunch or something
else. So we serve about 49,000 lunches per day.
Wow.
For breakfast, we serve about 27,000 breakfasts each morning. And that number is actually increasing some, because I know as we go along, there are some schools that are starting to do breakfast in the classroom. That we actually, everybody gets breakfast in the classroom. So actually they have better attendance, the kids get there on time, that type of thing. So for all you parents, make sure you bring your child. We'll feed them breakfast, so you don't have to worry about that.
And you'll get your breakfast.
Get breakfast. And then we have some other programs just between breakfast and lunch. We do have a supper program that we do at a lot of our high schools if they have some type of activity, and a couple of middle schools. And those numbers vary. We might have at some high schools that we might be doing about 150, 200 meals. Like if they're having football practice band, or if they're having study groups, that type of thing.
So if they stay until a certain amount, until a certain time at school.
Yeah, those schools, it varies. That's where you would have to actually contact either the central office or contact that cafeteria to see if they're actually having that program. We probably have about 10 schools that it's mainly high schools. Then we also have our, we also have a fresh fruit and vegetable program that's in elementary schools, and we have about 14 elementary schools that participate in that. And basically we serve fruits and vegetables to students that's during their academic time. It cannot be served during breakfast or lunch meal service time. It has to be served during academic time. And for that program, I'd say we probably have about 8,000 or 9,000 students that actually get fruits and vegetables
and how
twice
does
a
that
week.
work?
We get twice a week. They get a fruit and a vegetable, and it's served like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. And basically, it has to be something that's a little bit different that we do. Like we might do, say, sweet potato sticks, or we might have.
That sounds yummy.
There's one that's called like an ugly fruit. Things like that. Sometimes we may do like strawberries or something. Another time we did, we talked earlier about like the lychee fruit and things. So we try to find that, like at Mardi Gras time, we do carnival cauliflower. So it's actually cauliflower that's purple, green, and gold.
Things that you typically won't eat at home.
That,
or
you
would
won't buy. Or we might do like heirloom tomatoes, like the little heirloom grape tomatoes, things like that. Something a little bit different, but that's sort of interesting, and that would be for them maybe to try. One thing is, a few years ago, it's called a pluot, and it's it's a combination of a plum and apricot. And we served that at the school, and all the children in that area, it was around the Grand Bay area, they would go to Greer's looking for the pluots, and so they had to start getting pluots in because the kids loved them so much. They were asking for it.
Right.
So that program we have, and we've been doing that probably about 7-8 years now. And then summer feeding is probably one of our biggest programs. And in the past few years, we've been serving about 100,000 meals for the summer. And that's
now we have the buses. We see the buses that travel
Right.
around. Right.
Yes, we have 4 buses that travel around.
That's
and then
wonderful.
those buses actually help us during the school year. Like if we have like I know like a couple of times with the Bryant Vocational Center, they've actually had like a group of students, like maybe 5th graders go on there. There might be 200 or 300 students going there. So in order not to have to pack lunch and stuff like that, we just prepare food at one school, load it on the bus, and serve it as a picnic type of thing. And that's what's nice about the buses, is we can actually do hamburgers and hot foods and cold foods rather than just sending a cold sandwich.
And then for the summer feeding, who qualifies for that, for the summer feeding
Anybody
program?
can qualify for it, as long as wherever our sites are, if it's an open site, such as, say, if we go to Evans School or something like that, and most of our high schools we generally have as open sites. As long as you're 18 years and younger, you can come and get a meal at no charge. And so we do go, the buses go around to some open sites, like we had some sites that maybe if it's at a park or something like that. You can always look on our website.
To see where the different
sites are. And if it's an open site where you can go in, you can just do it. If it's a closed site, we can probably, we really can't serve you, but we can refer you to another site.
I know that we had a field trip this summer for the migrant program, and they came out and did the lunches for all the kids, and that was really great.
One thing is there is a lot of menus and things like that are on the website. So, you know, if you can either look up, I think it's information on or find, we usually have our lunch menus.
Give you the list.
Parents, we have had a great show today. We've had the opportunity to connect with Suzanne Lanyos and the Mobile County Public School System's Child Nutrition Program. We ask that when you visit your child's school and the cafeteria, please thank the staff. They do a great job of taking care of our children. Thank you, and Parent Connect, we'll see you again soon.
Bye.